Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and oh, hi everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Season 5 video. And we are only a week away from the return of Season 5. Of course, episodes 12 and 13 will be dropping next week. I can't remember the exact date. I think it is on Friday evening, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is next Friday that it is dropping. So we are literally 7 days away from the release of both episodes 12 and 13. Remember, it's going to be a double header next week, and then we have another 3-week break basically before episode 14 drops. But in honor of the return of the anime and the return of season 5 in particular, we have a PV by the Danmachi anime team, of course, for us to take a look at. We're going to react to it together. I'm going to put it up on screen. We'll do a play-by-play. I'm going to pause it at various moments, but keep in mind that this PV is extremely spoiler filled. So if you want to leave it as a surprise as to what's coming up in the near future, get off this video right now, because you will get spoiled on the upcoming episodes. Trust me when I say this. I had a quick look at the PV when I was at work, because it dropped like right as I went into work or something like that, and I just skimmed through it really quickly to just see what they showed off, and they showed off quite a bit. So just like the opening of the anime, this does show off quite a lot. So once again, would advise you guys to stay away from the video or just this reaction in general if you aren't wanting to get spoiled on what's coming up in episode 12 and 13, and of course what's going to be coming up ahead of time in episodes 14 and 15 as well. And for those of you guys who are sticking around and know what's coming up, or you don't mind getting spoiled, stick around. We're gonna have a bit of fun. We're gonna have do a proper play-by-play analysis of this PV and kind of break it down, talk about if we see any improvements and stuff like that. Of course, if you guys want to also enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, all that sort of good stuff. It would be truly appreciated. And let me know in the comment section down below, do you see a marked improvement to the upcoming episodes, compared to the previous episodes? I am quite curious to see if you guys are able to tell more than I can. I'm not gonna sit here and say like I'm the best animator in the world, or like I'm the best analyst in the world when it comes to animation, but I have watched a lot of anime in the past, and I feel like I can use some of that knowledge to obviously guide my opinion on what I think has happened in the last month and a half effectively, since of course season 5 stopped. But yeah, let me know in the comments. I'm quite curious to see what you guys have to say. Anyways, let's click the play button and let's check out the entire PV. So it is okay. So we're starting off with basically what seems to be episode 9 content here, episode 9, episode 10 content here, episode 10 content in particular here. So I think we're obviously going to be taking a quick look at effectively a small recap, it feels like, of the start of War Games. It seems like, yeah, it does seem like it's going to be showing us a bit of a recap of everything. I think this is a good thing that they're doing in a way, because what they're doing is they're showing us the bad, you could say. Again, I hate saying the bad, because I don't think it was terrible. It was very average is the issue, and that's not what we want from Danmachi. We don't want Danmachi to be just an average, run-of-the-mill action show. We want it to be better. We want it, obviously I don't expect it to be a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, knowing which studio is working on it, JC staff, and also knowing the fact that the 10 out of 10s that we see from like a Ufotable recent Madhouse, of course, right, is unlikely to be seen. That's the thing you have to realize, is like each studio has their ceilings, and I do think JC staff's ceiling is much higher than this. If you watch some of the Railgun stuff, even some of the Danmachi stuff, when they're in their bag, they really can get in their bag. But the problem is their inconsistencies are very prominent as well, where you can tell that they're not as consistent, whatever the reason may be. Maybe it's because they're outsourcing wrong at the wrong times. Maybe for one episode they've outsourced a certain set of individuals who aren't as good as the second set of individuals who are better with another episode. I don't know how they operate when it comes to outsourcing in-house work and so on and so forth, because that does matter a lot. It does matter a lot on how you outsource, and is it consistent in terms of the people you're outsourcing and stuff. It does matter quite a bit. So I am quite interested in the background of JC staff and how they operate, because I have to say this for every one of their shows, it is very inconsistent. It is terribly inconsistent. But yeah, of course we can see, of course, the start of War Games. This is basically, you know, end of episode 10, start of episode 11, basically. Again, I hate the fact that they did that in episode 11, was recapping effectively what we had already seen in episode 10. At the end of episode 10 in particular, it was one of the things that I was just like, come on, really? Did we need to kind of do that? You know, when we're in a position where, you know, we are already struggling for time when it comes to, of course, covering all the content, and you decide to do a recap. Like, in previous episodes to episode 11, I'd always said, you know, that we didn't need to, I'm glad they did the best they could, because there were no recaps. There was no telling of what already had happened before. It was already going ahead and progressing. It's just that, of course, sometimes they made the wrong decisions on what to include, but more often than not, it was just a lack of time and lack of, you know, resources on that front. Now, of course, this is the scene that a lot of people were mad about. I actually didn't mind the running against each other part, but the moment they clash, Bell being pushed back immediately without us even seeing the pushback or anything was pretty bad, in all honesty. And that's where the problems began, realistically, you could say. And that's where everybody got very frustrated with it. And I think that's where even they realized, okay, we definitely didn't do the best job possible, but we had to drop the episode kind of thing, basically. You know, it was too late to kind of do the delay. I do wonder if that might have been the case, because obviously the delay to episode 12 was announced not quickly, but like within 3 or 4 days, we knew that the delay was coming, you know, because we had also seen that there was no PV announcement or anything of that sort. So that was something that to keep in mind as well on that front as well. But yeah, so we're progressing a little bit forward now as well, it seems like, basically. Yeah, we're getting into a position where we're seeing, oh my god, okay, spoilers. But yes, we're progressing into basically what is now uncharted territory, effectively. This is going to be content from episode 12 and onwards. But yeah, everybody's dying, as you can see. And then, of course, the knight in shining light, the wind is coming. Yeah, there it is. Oh my god. Honestly, this doesn't help, okay? I'm sorry, this doesn't help the allegations that, you know, ICE fans have been putting against JC staff that Ryu is their favorite girl. I mean, the fact that they delayed it for Ryu's episode in particular is very funny to me, to be honest. I find it quite entertaining, to be honest. Hey man, listen, I like it. Alright, let's see. Okay, yeah, no, they've actually improved it. It's quite a bit, it's a little bit better, I'm not gonna lie. It actually is a little bit better, the quality. Lily, of course, here. Let's see. Alright. The hostess of fertility coming into play as well, of course, right? There it is. Obviously, Mia versus Otaro, and then Heath getting mad, of course, as well. I think we need to see the full thing, but it does look a little better, to be honest. It does look a little better. I don't know how much better, of course, right? But we're gonna have to wait and see, honestly. But I think it does look a little better, to be honest. It really does. Again, I think we'll need to see the full episode to get a full idea of it. Episodes 12 and 13 to get a better idea of the entire thing, right? But, I mean, like, the biggest issue we've always had is, of course, right, the action sequences, the clashing, and I've always said this, the fist of... When it comes to human versus human, the fist fight part, or the melee combat side of things, has always been a weak point, in my opinion, for Danmachi. You know, you look back at the past as well, right? Season 1, really good because it was primarily monsters. Season 2, a lot weaker, you could say. Hyakintos, Frin, that was a problem. Season 3, mixed bag. The Xenos fights were pretty good, but then you had Bell going up against Dix, and that was a little weak in my personal opinion as well. And not to mention, Bell vs. Astreus was also a bit weak, but it was still a lot better than the other sequences, right? Season 4 against monsters, completely fine. I don't know if it's just the Danmachi team struggling with the whole idea of fist fights and melee combats between two humans. Is it a struggle there? Then maybe hire people who are better in that situation, you know, or maybe hire, or maybe work on that situation, try and look in house and see who's good in that sort of department and put them on the team. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the close... That's another thing I noticed with Danmachi is that the close-up shots are really good, but then you look at the faraway shots, the long-range shots, and that's where problems begin. When you zoom out a little bit, they're movements tend to feel a little jank sometimes, not all the time, sometimes. But again, we're gonna have to wait and see. You guys can let me know your thoughts, of course, right? Like, of course, if I'm pausing on a frame, then it can look a little bit weird in terms of the animation and stuff. When you pause something, right, remember, these are things that are supposed to be made in motion, unless it's a still image. Like, for example, right, we go back here, right? This is supposed to look good when you pause it, because the whole idea is that Heath in this situation is talking and she's standing still. The aura around her is building, but she's not moving particularly, right? But then if you look at, for example, let's say, for example, let's take Alfred running in, right? No, this is not Alfred. This is, I keep forgetting who wears the green one. I can't remember his name. I don't remember what's the green one's name. But the thing is, right, when he's in motion, he's going to look weird because the whole body is moving and the whole motion is jank a little bit. So it's unfair to say that is a problem, because that's going to happen. This happened even in like Dragon Ball and various other shows as well. It tends to happen in that sort of situation. Some shows tend to take a lot of care even to avoid that sort of situation, you know, but those are studios that only have like one show going on at a time and stuff like that. Again, I'm not giving them excuses. I'm just saying that this is something that's actually quite common in the industry, and it's only very few studios who actually pay attention to every single frame to make sure that it doesn't happen as often. But still, it's something that is bound to happen anyways. But yeah, you can see Freya's mad here. Very, very angry lady. Very, very angry lady. We actually got an image of this a few days before the preview dropped. I think 3 days ago. We got this as a still image, so it's not too surprising to see her mad here as well. And then, of course, we get to see Belle and Ryu running into effectively the fray. It seems like they're getting into what is effectively going to be the final stand, of course, against who I assume is probably going to be like Otaro or something, most likely. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say in the comment section. I'm very interested to see what you guys think. Do you guys like the look of the episode so far in terms of the episode 12 and 13 section? Do you guys think that there's still improvements to be made? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully this video doesn't get copyright claimed. Until the next one, guys, take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.